Okay. All right. Well, good. So, what we're going to do in this one is just have a little chat about stuff. And I want to do a little portfolio review. It's been a long time since we did a live stream. Actually, I have no idea when the last one was, but it was chill. And I think one of the reasons I've been putting it off is because generally it's quite an anxiety-inducing thing, and I'm not used to it. Hold on. What's happening with the camera? Oh man, everything changes. One sec. You're misbehaving. So what I've done is moderators have given me a list of links, just generally portfolios that have been submitted in the live stream chat channel in the Discord server. If you want to have your portfolio reviewed, enter the server, post a link to it in the live stream chat. If you want a link to the Discord server, if you go to curtisholt.online/links, there'll be a link right there. Alternatively, you can look at one of the descriptions in one of the recent videos and you'll find a link to the links page in there. All right, so let me just double check the chat to make sure everything's all right. Into pixel, camera's gone. Yes, the camera's gone undercover. All right, nice. So I'd say let's begin because I think stuff is generally working now. All right, so let me check. First one on the list, what do we have? Oh, it's a Behance one. All right, I'm going to try and bring it up. Hopefully that works all right. Yeah, so I've prepared a little something funny. On one of the recent Blender Nest podcast episodes, there was a little snippet taken. I did something a little bit out of the ordinary, and one of our community members has trimmed it down into a GIF. So if I find something that I just love, I'm gonna give you a little bit of the love. So let's take a look. All right, this portfolio, all 3D works. Oh wow, immediately, very vehicle heavy. Looks like a lot of concept car work going on here. I love this. Chanel. Okay, so we've got different kinds of sponsorships going on. I love the rendering on this. I wonder what engine this was rendered with, actually. The modeling is quite sleek. Nice silhouette going on. Nissan. Okay, I wonder, is this professional work? Or is this done for hobbyist reasons? Oh, I see. Nice product visualization. Wacom. I wonder if this was done for the company or not, because that looks good enough. I love it. Glass renders, a little bit noisy, still looks quite pretty. More concept work. I don't actually see too many concept artists for vehicles nowadays. I used to see quite a few, say about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And I think they might have dropped off a bit, but maybe I've been not paying too much attention to ArtStation recently. Right, let me just check. Okay, how can I find the Discord? Okay, well, I'll say it again for the people that weren't sure, but I'm sure the moderators will throw a link in there as well. curtisholt.online/links, you'll find a link to the Discord server in there. So I see here that there's a mix of not just the concept work for vehicles, but also architectural visualization. This is super nice. Let me take a look in here. Materials, a bit strange, non-realistic. The bricks on the walls here, it's completely flat. But the rest of it, lighting-wise, looks pretty nice. I'm wondering if there's a mix of pre-made props thrown in here. I'm noticing the reflections on the side here on the left. Generally inconsistent quality, but overall I really like the composition of this. It's quite a nice feel. Actually, let me just jump back on there quickly. What else do we have further down? A mix. So I think, okay, from the looks of it, it looks like we're moving backwards in time for the quality here. This top piece right here, this is fantastic. I love this. It almost looks like something I'd like to drive in a video game. Okay, yeah, so it doesn't look like we're going back through the ages. This is definitely my kind of style of work right here. Kind of ancient, kind of a bit abstract. Do I see like a kind of... Yeah, I like it. I like it. All right, let's give some other people some time. All right, we've got Switch Max FX. All right, okay, so this is an ArtStation post instead. How do I feel about NFT? Well, I'll tell you what, we can get into the NFT chat a little bit later on, but I want to leave that until, I don't know, maybe we've settled in a bit more, because the NFT chat it's contentious, so I've got to be very careful. I nearly planned a video about it for the actual channel, but Man, I tell you what, Twitter has exploded. So maybe let's leave that for a little bit later and just focus on the beautiful artworks for now. So carrying on with Switch Max. Vicinity. Oh, you know I love the colors. Hang on, I've got to do it. I've got to give you the... Look at it. The pinks and blues. Fantastic, love it. Oh, helmets. Well, I wonder if you modeled all this. This is nice. Okay, Houdini, Cinema 4D, Redshift. Heard really good things. I've never actually used Redshift. I'd love to give it more of a try. Yeah, not a day goes by without someone mentioning NFT and I can't take it. Look, lots of people feel the same way. Trust me about that. Can I ask for feedback on my digital compositing reel? Well, feel free to throw a link into the Discord channel, the live stream chat one, and if the mods pass it through to me, then I can have a look. All right, so looks like there's a fair amount of abstract stuff going on here. Okay, Tita, is this animated? Oh, I love me some animations. Looks a bit like a Jawbreaker. Oh, I see, so teetering on the edge. Right, got it. Okay, quite abstract. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that seems to sell pretty well as NFTs anyway, but let's try and stick away from that. I've had a bit of a joke with my community members recently that no matter how hard you try, you cannot escape the subject of crypto art. It's just, it always comes back. Tubes. Lovely material variety here. Oh, I love this. This is interesting. This feels like the kind of thing where like every time you watch it, you're going to notice something different. So I love it. I'm going to give you a like. There you go. Hire me Pixar. All right, Pixar. Anyone from Pixar watching? Let's take a look. Lots of fur simulations going on. Oh, I love the little wobbly legs. That's kind of cute. Not bad. Oh, talking about crypto. Come on, load. We can't escape it. Look at it. Bitcoins galore. Absolutely everywhere. Oh man, more blues and purples, love it. Messenger. Oh, I see. So is this the same model from this one here? Vicinity. I see seeing like the spaceship helmet going on. I like it. It's a good reuse if it is. Love the kind of smoke effects going on. Again, Redshift. I like this. There's a good variety. This doesn't feel like... Hold on, notice something. I've seen this one before. I love this one. God, the detail on the ropes is mental. Absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna give you a little love it. Fantastic, well done. Yeah. So it doesn't seem like it's necessarily professionally focused, this. It seems like it's more just, you know, for fun, for hobbyists, for all sorts of things. This, again, would probably be the sort of thing that would run quite well in the NFT communities. But yeah, let's move on to some other things. I'm just going to check the stream quickly. Got to give you some love. Dab, you shouldn't have brought it up into Pixel. Don't worry about it. It's just been such a strange thing recently. People are getting so split over it in the community. Spite. We'll get onto it. If you stick around, keep reminding me, because I'll try and avoid it as much as possible just to stay away from being totally contentious. But yeah, let me move on. Going back to my lovely moderators sending me the good stuff. XRevV. Now, I think this person has actually taken part in some of the Discord art challenges that we've been running. Basically, if you don't know, we run somewhat weekly challenges on our Discord where I provide like a subject and people just make whatever art they like. Generally, the 3 best ones get put into a Hall of Fame channel. And we've started doing something new recently where the people that make it to the Hall of Fame actually get put on the website. So if you go to the website, at the bottom you can find the links to the 2020 and 2021 arts. On the 2020 you can see some of the Hall of Fame winners from our community. Some of these are lovely. This one by Izuix is just, I've got to do it, I've got to do it, and you know I've got to do it. Come on, there we go. It's just fantastic. So yeah, you can take a look at all of these. We've got the names of the user underneath. So if you want to make your mark and like have a permanent spot on the website, then feel free to tag along and take a look. If you join the server and you want to take part in these challenges, then just enter the general chat and ask to be given the challenger role so you can get updated on the challenges. So the user here is XRevV. but their name is, how am I going to pronounce this? Matus or something like that, from Poland. Seems to be an interesting kind of like maybe expressionist focus, like a human element. I don't really know how else to describe this. Some of it's pretty gory. I think this was actually the competition entry. Oh, this is interesting. Having like a emissive ring around the body of a character, I've seen this quite a lot. It seems to be quite a popular thing, especially on ArtStation. And I think I've done it a couple of times. I think the reason it's popular is because it kind of acts as like a good rim light source for around the head structure, or just around like the upper torso, or wherever you want to put it. Because, well, as you can see, it just provides light, it bleeds in, it doesn't necessarily disturb the background too much. So I quite like these. Some of it feels maybe a little bit messy, but I don't think that necessarily detracts away from like the feeling of it overall. Yeah, very interesting. Something you could get lost looking at. See, we've got the ring thing going on again here, and I like the blues, of course. All right, let me just double check the chat. Oh, lots of hearts. Yeah, if you want to have your portfolio review, just shove it into the live stream chat channel on the Discord server. Let's move on to the next one. Right. Okay, again, my pronunciations are terrible. Adam? I'm not sure how to pronounce, I'm sorry, but like, if I pronounce it wrong, then feel free to tell me. But I know who this person is anyway, but I know them by a different name. So this person's been around in our community for a while. We have a joke because they've always wanted to be a moderator, but they've never been able to get the position. So we've put them in a special moderator in training position indefinitely. Their work has always been just fantastic. I mean, let's take a look. BMW M4 GTS. I mean, pristine work right there. I mean, and look at this with the kind of motion blur going on. Challenger Hellcat, so clean on the modeling. It's fantastic. The Nissan GTR. The car is fantastic here. The only slight letdown is the background. You see up here, we've got the immediately harsh transition for this background element. No bevel whatsoever. The texture looks slightly stretched. But I wonder if even this was made more plain, letting the car pop out more, it would actually look much cleaner. But there's nothing wrong with the car. Again, just beautiful. I love it. Even the tiny lens flares on this are just magnificent. I mean, like, I never have a really bad thing to say about this person's work. It's just a joy to look at all the time. So, you know what we've got to do? You know what we got to do? We're gonna leave it on there for a little bit more. Fantastic. There we go. Take a screenshot of this. This is a memory. Fantastic. Right. Just gonna check the chat again. I love your stuff. You've really helped my Blender work flow, and I've been fiddling with it since 2009. Fantastic to hear. I don't have a portfolio apart from 2 tutorials, but I'm glad to be a part of this community. Fantastic. Lovely to have you here. Can I just say, the Blender Nest podcasts are so great, and you talk about some really interesting things. Blender Nest has sort of evolved. Yeah. First it was all about Blender, now it's about everything. That is true. The thing with doing a Blender-focused podcast, by the way, for people that don't know, we have a channel on YouTube called Blender Nest, and I think you can get it at youtube.com/BlenderNest. I tried to set up the URL, it may or may not be active. We talk about all things Blender, but the thing about doing a Blender podcast weekly is that there's only so much you can talk about before you start drifting onto other things. And because Blender is such an international thing, spanning so many industries, you end up talking about so many industries and all different aspects of life. And it's been really interesting because, well, it's gotten me out of my shell a bit, but it's also let me meet other very interesting Blender creators in the community. So it's been a really good way to connect with others and sort of bounce ideas off each other. It's also doubled up as a really good therapy session, I suppose, like a weekly therapy session, because you can like relay your struggles and the things that you feel like you deal with on a day-to-day basis making content with other people that have been doing it sometimes for like many more years than you. So if you're interested, you can take a look at that channel and feel free to send feedback. So let's move on. I might as well take that GIF off now. You've had enough of it. You've been spoiled. All right, so okay, I know this person as well, a lovely patron. So thank you very much for your support. So I've got a thank you very much. Let's take a look at your work, Sam. So we're going to start at the back and then kind of move forward. Secrets, love it. Moody, volumetrics. Am I seeing like a Kermit element going on here? Oh, I can't zoom in like that. Okay, hold on. Let me open the. Is this what I think it is? It is Kermit the Frog. Oh man, interesting storytelling. I want to know why. Like, why is it Kermit? Time flies. Okay, this is an entry into the Blender Discord weekly competition. Won first place. Okay, time. Zoom back in. There we go. I like it. I like how it's dissolving. The effects is quite nice. It seems quite particulate. Maybe a bit too uniform on the particles, but I think it's quite nice overall. Moving along. This is cinematic. I love this. I mean, I used to love collecting kind of models of like World War II fighter aircraft. So this really hits the spot. Kind of reminds me of War Thunder as well. If you've ever played that game, it's really good. All right, someone's asking, is that a Curtis Holt t-shirt? Yes. Yes, it is. There's merchandise available. I I never really push it, but if you have a look under the main videos, there should be like a merchandise section. I think it depends like where you're from internationally, depending that decides whether or not you can actually see the store. There's some weird things where it doesn't show up sometimes. What browser is that? This is Brave, the Brave browser. All right, moving on. Spooky Suzanne. Okay, it's a bit difficult to see what's going on, but I'm getting the gist. So we've got like a kind of we've got a pumpkin with Suzanne carved out of it. Oh, there we go. That's clearer. I see that. Interesting idea. Interesting idea. And this was made for the CG Cookie Halloween contest. CG Cookie's great. I mean, they've got lots of amazing content. If you want to like sign up for them and have a look, they keep things pretty updated as well. That was actually one thing I was worried about for CG Cookie, was like whether or not they would actually keep up with the new versions of Blender over time, and they have. So definitely check them out. Martian Landscape. This is another competition piece. Sam does a lot of competition pieces, and competitions are just really a fantastic way to up your skill set, because they really give you a reason and a deadline to actually apply your skills. Because a lot of people struggle with, say, knowing what to do or like what kind of practice to do, and the competitions will really give you some direction. I mean, when I started off learning Blender properly, I took part in the weekly CG challenge, which was hosted by Zacharias Reinhardt and maintained by others as well. That's now evolved because Zacharias Reinhardt has his company CG Boost, which I've talked about several times on the channel, and they also run their own challenges on there as well. So that's another one that you could have a look at if you were interested. Okay, let me just check the chat again. Lovely work. Can you roast my folio to charcoals? If you put the link into the live stream chat channel, if the mods send it my way, then I'll have a look at it. I prefer Firefox. Yeah, Firefox is good. I actually use different browsers depending on what I'm doing. So I tend to use Firefox if I'm, say, uploading stuff or managing my work. Chrome, generally, if I'm just browsing. Actually, not Chrome anymore. I tend to use Brave more than Chrome now, but I've got like several browsers installed. Brave is good because it kind of automatically stops scripts that like try and track you across websites. So I quite like that. Let's carry on. Martian Landscape here. Looks great. I love it with the extra compositing here, or edited materials lighting and compositing. That's definitely an improvement. And I mean, some people find it quite surprising when they first do it, but a little bit of post-processing goes a long way towards making a render look so much better. Okay, nice. Sword in the Stone. Pretty classic. Pretty classic. Although I don't think I've seen too many of these. I've seen this kind of motif, this fantasy storytelling motif, appear several times across ArtStation, but not very often, so I quite like this one. Oh, again, love it. So, Wings of Glory, put together for the thumbnail on Wings of Glory 2, Roblox, using assets made for the game. That, it just looks really pretty. Just so clean, even if it's kind of smooth, I like it. Very visually stimulating, quite vibrant. Okay, immediately what this screams to me is Kerbal Space Program, and I think it's just because of the shape of the rocket and the wings on the side. So I love it. Kerbal Space Program's a fantastic game, by the way. Oh, Spitfire, nice. Want to try and go a little bit faster so we can move on to some other people. Oh, this was one of the competition entries for our server. So it was the out of place theme. So this duck is clearly out of place. And I think that made it onto the website as well. HMS Hood, very good. Lovely planet work. You've been doing quite a lot of really good planet work, by the way. I've seen some of the stuff, some of the work in progress you've been posting. Okay, Tarnfolk Escort Carrier. Very nice. So, fantastic. I will give you my my moment of approval. So, let's move on. I got a message from the mod saying your cam is black. Do we have any more moderators, or is that it for now? Because if we don't get any more come through, let me check. Oh, there are more. One of my mods is slacking. Oh, I see. So they've moved over to a different channel. There we go. I'm gonna get reprimanded for that now. Maharos. Again, pronunciation is terrible. You know, one thing that gives me a lot of anxiety is when I'm doing scripts for videos, and because the Blender community is so international, you have people with names from like all different cultures, and sometimes you sit there and you read it and you go, I don't know how to say that, and if I say it wrong, I know I'm going to offend them, but I really want to mention them. So sometimes you find strategic ways to try and get around it, or like listen to their old videos to see if they've ever said their own name. So yeah, I'm sorry if I say things wrong. Creepy Swing, kind of basic, but I like it. It's good. Posted 10 minutes ago. Did you do this in time for the stream? If you did, good on you. Love it. 13 minutes ago. Oh, this is a speedy compilation of a portfolio. Rainbow Six Siege, Maestro, and Valkyrie. I actually like Siege, Rainbow Six Siege. I've played a little bit of it, not too much. I'm more of a PvE than a PvP player, but I love it. Breaking Bad, okay. Fair play. Control, inspired by the game. Oh, right. Never actually played this one. But this is interesting. I like it. We've got a kind of abstract element here. You know what this artwork reminds me of? Did anyone play that game Mirror's Edge? Because I love that game. It came out in 2008, I think, the original. And it was this fantastic parkour game where you were kind of exploring a cityscape. And there were these lovely interior moments where the architecture was so minimal, but throughout it were these vibrant, kind of oversaturated, abstract art pieces that you'd just be running by, and there was something I really liked about them, and that's the kind of vibe I get from like that. I highly recommend that game. It's pretty timeless in my opinion. All right, hold on. What else do we have? All right, no comment. Zenith from Terraria, pretty cool. Random groupings of art. Okay, nice. So not too advanced, but I've seen your work before, and I do like it, and I feel like you have developed over time. So definitely keep it up. Let me move on over. Ah, Devanshu. My precious Devanshu. Such a lovely person. Let me just check the chat quickly. Oh, we got some love for Mirror's Edge in there. Fantastic. Nice to hear. I love Mirror's Edge. Yeah. All right, lovely. So Devanshu is a fantastic artist. I'll just say that off the bat. So let me give him a preemptive. And I've enjoyed so many chats with him as well. He's really nice to talk to. Not even just on a professional level, but even on like a kind of personal level. So look at this. Just feast your eyes. Let's take a look. Oh, vibrancy. I haven't actually seen, maybe I've seen one or two of these. I don't think I have. Lovely product visualization going on. We have some of the Houdini work. Love it. Oh yeah, I remember this one for Sculpt January. Vex. What's Vex doing here? We might get to Vex. I don't know if Vex actually posted his portfolio. Maybe we'll see. Okay, so more Sculpt January work. I remember he made a point about doing all different types of Pokemon related to the themes. It's so pretty. It's fantastic. Ditto, Magikarp. Oh man. I mean, fantastic from an expression standpoint. Like, please check out his work. I mean, I can't go through all of it, but take a look. So let's move on to give some other people some time. Just mute the video sound. Show reel, Niklas. Okay, let's have a look at this show reel. If it loads. If I make that large, I think you can still see it. Let's have a little look. It's like having a movie night with Curtis. Okay, where's this going? Oh. Not bad, quite artistic. Got a bit of a matte painting vibe going on here. Digital compositing. Intro sequences. More compositing, not too bad, pretty clean. Intro design. Pretty good, nice professional quality, good variety as well. Sorry, I can't sit through the whole thing. But yeah, very nice. And there's their information. So yeah. Let me just take a look at the chat. I'm seeing some questions. Sir Curtis, how you doing, my man? Hi, True Beast. Hope you're doing all right. Look forward to speaking to you again soon. Is the stream going to be available after it ends? I'm not sure, probably, because I like to leave content up. You know, if it's been put out into the universe, I don't really know why I should hide it. So yeah, I'll do it. Where's the channel to post it on? In the Discord server, it's livestream chat, livestream-chat. I'm sure the mods will help you if you need help. Devanshu, I was really hoping for some harsh critique. Like, you know me. I don't give harsh critique unless I'm really asked. Do you want me to? I mean, I've got to move on to other people. It's only fair to move on. So, yeah. Let's take a look. Oh, okay. We're coming back to Vex. Hold on. Just responding. Right. So, Vex. I love Vex because we have kind of similar color schemes and styles. Vex tends to do much more kind of concentrated, smaller packets of awesome, and I really like it. They're also fantastic with node work as well. They have some products you can take a look at. I think I did a video not that long ago, which was, I'm gonna try and find it quickly, about was it procedural? No, shading resources. And Vex has this lovely pack, and I can't remember what it's called because my mind is frying from trying to keep the stream going. Amazing shader resources for Blender. That's the video there. Take a look, because Vex has this lovely material pack. Definitely worthwhile. Holographics. That's what it was called. See, I'm not completely awful. Right, let's take a look at it. And I mean, you can probably tell from the color scheme that I would love this stuff anyway. So interesting. Album artwork. That's kind of what comes out to me from this. It's so well condensed. And again, on the subject of NFT, this kind of feels like the sort of thing that would be really good for that. So, I mean, take a look. Their website's pretty interesting. v-e-x.card with 2 r's.co. And you can have a look and see it in all of its glory. Holographics to the moon. Yes, Vex, exactly. Absolutely incredible work. Interpixels in here, being very supportive. Thanks for coming along, Interpixel, by the way. Right. Do we have anyone else? Yes, we do. All right. Pronunciations again. Aradya. I'm very sorry for mispronouncing. But let's take a look here. I'm seeing some car work going on immediately. I'm seeing some vibrant elements, something a bit more abstract, maybe a bit sculpty. Is that Psy from Gangnam Style? Okay, hold on. Curtis Holt, what is your poison? Not relevant. All right, secret stuff. All right, Volvo Ownership Club. Oh, I like the style of that poster. There's a person in my server who loves Volvos, so I'm sure they'd be very happy to see this. Grammar School Culture Night poster. Interesting, nice graphic design. I love me some 2D work, and I'm pretty sure that the camera just went off because I wasn't paying attention. So give me a minute. Naughty. Right. Yes, I love me some 2D graphics design because we really don't see enough of it in some of our circles in the community, because obviously everyone's so focused on 3D work. I was kind of hoping that the Grease Pencil would flare up some 2D artists in the community, and it has to a certain degree. There are some that have really stood out, but I always love seeing more 2D art. Okay, bit of an experimentation with procedural materials. Good, love some procedural work. Gothic patina. It is interesting. It's a bit chaotic, but I kind of like it. Like, I could look at this for a while. I'm seeing some geometry in here that actually reminds me of Biogen a little bit. Every time I see hard surface faceted things, I've had it burnt into my memory, the kind of Biogen style. Yes, they do some amazing Grease Pencil stuff. Eevee is really one of my favorite Pokemon. Yeah, the reason I've got Eevee here is, of course, because of the Eevee rendering engine in Blender. And if you want to get symbolic, the reason it's in front of the other plushie in the room back there from Kurzgesagt, you know, the animated YouTube channel, is because Eevee is the future. It's the new engine. It comes ahead. And in the past, we have the Cycles path traced engine, which is sitting out there in the back all by itself. How very lonely. No, I'm joking. I love Cycles. Lovely car modeling. I'm sure that kind of areas like this around the lights are quite difficult to do, especially if you're doing sub-D modeling. Oh, I love the kind of emissive around the tires as well. That gets me kind of excited because I love the Tron style of things. Oh, actually, this looks like a kind of car that you would see in Rocket League. I love Rocket League. Okay, this feels like another piece of artwork that I've seen, but I don't know who it was by. Having like all this kind of metallic abstract, these layers, these kind of lattices moving up across the environment in a very symmetrical way, same kind of color scheme. But I love this stuff. Again, it's the kind of thing that would work well as like a desktop background, because you could just look at it for hours on end. Aha, here we go. Oh, hello Ellie in the chat as well. Ellie, who sometimes appears on the Blender Nest podcast. Very lovely person. Ember, again, I love me some neon. More car work, all very nice. Yeah, cool. Thanks for sharing. So deep, so symbolic. Yeah, you know it. We've got to we've got to be pretentious. Oh my god, okay. So Ben, BBBN19 is absolutely incredible. Now, if you've been following the Blender subreddit for a while, you've undoubtedly seen some of his work, because I think he's probably the most popular Blender creator on the subreddit in terms of like upvotes overall. But I speak to him fairly frequently. He sometimes appears on the Blender Nest podcast. He's quite active on Twitter as well. Such a lovely human being, but his work is just magnificent. And man, you really need to put some more of it on ArtStation. A lot of your work's missing on here. I know it. I've seen it. So yeah, some of his work is inspired by the concept art from another artist as well. Who was it? Was it SDO? Trying to remember the name. But I mean, fantastic. And he does a lot of procedural materials as well. He's the mind behind the shader displacement system for Eevee, which again I did a video about. Let me just try and find it quickly. If we have a look at my channel, real-time shader displacement for Eevee, worth checking out, because obviously shader displacement is something that you can't really do with Eevee. Not really. I mean, you can do like, you know, modifier stack type displacement, geometric, but shader displacement's a lot harder. So you can have workaround methods where you generate layers upon layers on top of the surface of an object, and then, you know, with transparency and other things, you can make it look like it's displaced. So it's worth taking a look at. So obviously some of this stuff is quite fan inspired, and it's so clean. He's always been brilliant with lighting. That's one thing we've always complimented him about. That's the word. He's really good with rim lighting, especially. And he's done probably the best recreation work of Tron that I've ever seen. You should see some of his animations as well. I mean, just look at the details on the surfaces of the outfits. It's wonderful. I mean, I couldn't do this. I couldn't get anywhere close to that. So yeah, thank you for sharing, and keep up the work, Ben. Right, Ben is a god. Yep, Ben. Yeah, everyone's happy to see Ben. Portal, yes, Wheatley especially, and we got GLaDOS here. Yeah, lovely. Love the Portal fan stuff. You know, there's a little tip for someone who wants to build a following in the Blender community. Fan works are very popular. Very popular. All right, let's move on. There's a Bouncy Cow. Again, someone that I've spoken to quite a bit. Theo, fantastic personality again. Just an absolute all-round charmer. So they've done a lot of work for our Discord art competitions as well. So you might find some of their stuff on the website, on the pages that I mentioned earlier for new people that have come along. I mentioned that on my website, we run art challenges on our server, and the winners get placed onto the website permanently on dedicated pages. And I split them up by year as well. So we have 2020 and so far for 2021. So if you're interested, that's worth taking a look at. I think my favorite piece is this one, because I'm such a huge fan of the Mass Effect series, and this kind of brings back memories of some of those scenes. The Reapers coming down. Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but such a fantastic series. I want to give Theo my thank you very much. Thank you for taking part in the community and for sharing your work. Yeah, just checking the chats right now. Big Fang, thanks for your help. All right, let's move on. And then we can have a bit of a chat about the NFT stuff as well, because I haven't forgotten. I wanted to see if anyone would drop off before we started. So let's take a look. Excalibur. Okay, interesting. You know, we were talking about not having too many of those kind of fantasy motifs with the sword in the stone. Looks like Excalibur's making a bit of a resurgence. Love the kind of runic details going on. Shape of the sword is maybe a bit too consistent. It's pretty nice. The material's actually pretty good. I like it overall. Feels like a game asset. And from the looks of it, you're going more in a game design direction. I'm seeing Unreal Engine. We've got a low poly graveyard. If I could make a guess, maybe Diablo inspired? Not sure. Maybe completely unrelated, but that's just something that sticks out to me. The Last Stand. Again, I'm getting very much of a kind of, you know, I mean, Blizzard has a bit of a monopoly on this kind of style now, I suppose. But, oh, I see. Okay, Lord of the Rings, Dragon Age. Dragon Age, that's a good series as well. I hope BioWare really gets their stuff together, because they have such good potential. It's a shame that Anthem got closed down. Sorry, but this is changing into like a video game chat now. Right. I started using Blender less than a year ago, and your channel has been super helpful. Would love to see what you think of what I've done so far. Well, feel free to post your work in the livestream chat channel, and if the moderators send it my way, we can take a look. I might only do a few more, because this is starting to wear me out a little bit, but I'll see what I can do. As someone who's got like quite a bit of social anxiety and who's quite introverted, it takes quite a lot of energy to keep this going, but I think this is good practice. So, RTB Ruhan. Interesting. I'm seeing some 2D work going on here, some more kind of like anime style drawings. Pathfinder. I love Pathfinder. Hang on. Pathfinder is my favorite character in Apex Legends. Thank you. Right. Okay, more work. It's kind of cute. It's kind of nicely drawn. Good lines. Steampunk musical box. Interesting. you've got this wide variety of skill sets going on, because we don't see too many people that are good at 2D and 3D. Some people tend to like ride the line in between. This is good. This is well textured. Nice kind of grunge and dirt elements going on. Just in terms of design, you've got a nice distribution of details, some higher, medium, and tertiary details going on. They're not too overpowering. Maybe the ropes are a bit too thick, but overall it's nicely done. And okay, the final render is good. It feels like there's been a little bit of post-processing going on as well compared to the earlier texture, but maybe that's just a renderer. I love it. Looks great. So well done. I don't play Apex much at all, but I only played him. I think he's the best character just for mobility. Oh, let me have a moment to rant. Okay, Titanfall, one of my favorite series for FPSs. The best movement in any video game ever, right? From a first-person standpoint, and they dumbed it down for Apex, and I was so disappointed about that. I think they should have kept it as they had it in Titanfall 2. I digress, I'm sorry. Right, Robospunk, let's take a look. Lots of abstract from the looks of it. Pretty. Interesting to look at. I'm getting a kind of like candy vibe from this. Wax inversion. Okay, looks like you got it on Gumroad as well. Interesting, nice shapes going on. This color scheme here reminds me of Vex, you know, with the very strong kind of hot pinks highlighting things. Oh, I love this. This reminds me of the, you know, the Epcot ball in Florida, in Epcot? I mean, if you know, you know. That's what it looks like. Looks great. Interesting variety of sculpts as well. Quite expressionist. Love this one. Actually, I really like this one for Sculptober. Let me give you our special. Well done. You get the award. All right. Yeah, interesting variety. Looks like you've been experimenting a lot. And remember, the two main elements for developing your skills as an artist is experimentation and mileage. And by experimentation, I mean trying new things. So not sticking within your comfort box, but trying new avenues for making content. And mileage is actually taking those things that you've been experimenting with and applying them through intentional practice. So, yes. So let me just take a moment to read the chat again. Yeah, go Titanfall gang. Woo! So you think Titanfall's movement is better than Mirror's Edge, for example? Yeah, in terms of where you can go, yes, but Mirror's Edge has the physicality that other games can't reproduce. Mirror's Edge feels like the most realistic human movement that you can get, I think. So I like both of them. Have you done the Myers-Briggs test? Can't remember. Do you think Blender will promote machine learning? Machine learning nodes or Python libraries? I'm thinking of doing something with the reconstruction. Yeah, I think machine learning does have, well, it's going to be very significant to the future of, well, not just the 3D industry, but pretty much every industry, because it kind of offloads a lot of manual labor behind processes. Yes, I do think so. Even in terms of like game development, for example, when it comes to designing environments, you find that a lot of companies, let me just tap the camera quickly. A lot of companies end up making the same kinds of assets again and again for video games, like you know, like flora, general aspects of architecture that are always the same, and it's really kind of nerve-wracking. But I think machine learning and AI can kind of interpret what you want. I think it's going to speed up the workflow process, and maybe we're even kind of getting there by adding layers of abstraction with things like geometry nodes, because artists that would be doing manual effort, like right down to the core, can now kind of take a more managerial perspective on content creation. So by making a few tweaks, they can make many changes and so on. I think machine learning and AI will kind of adopt that process, and we'll keep moving up layers, as so to speak. But yeah, I think it does. Competitions help me to try new things and get out of my comfort zone. Yes, definitely true. Definitely recommend it for people. Right, let's try the next one. Reynold Vargas. Sorry again, pronunciation terrible. Okay, immediately I'm seeing a mix, but a kind of focus towards science fiction environments. Space elevator looks pretty cool. I think I did something very similar to this once as well in terms of style. Let's see. Car modeling, pretty nice. I like the kind of hover element. Arc saber, lightsaber. No, I'm joking. It looks cool. I like that you've taken a different stance on this as well. I like the port details. I like how, well, it's just different structurally. Kind of makes people hang about on it for a little while and kind of go, oh, actually, yeah, that's a different interpretation. I like that. Small jet engine. Good. Nice sub-D modeling from the looks of it as well. It's very difficult to get like tough grooves like that and like kind of hard angles mixing into organic shapes. So well done. Very nicely done. Interesting. Are these separate objects? Are they the same? Regardless, I think the result's pretty good. Right. Just checking. Okay. Can Yasin? Maybe. Immediately, this looks pretty, so let's take a deeper look. Very nicely done. Tesla logo I'm seeing here. Eagle F1 tires. The kind of brushed metal look on the, not the brake pad, is it the, I don't know the term, but it looks fantastic. Lovely, well done. Nice normal render. Geometry is very good. Topology is very consistent. Lovely. This, I can see kind of harsh angles here a little bit, so I'm not sure if this is done to quite the same degree, but the wheels, they still look lovely here. Quite well done. Let me check. Again, the geometry is really nice. There's something really satisfying about looking at really well done edge loops around objects. Something that I struggle with quite a lot, and I know that a lot of people do, definitely. What have we got going on here? Game ready grenades. Nice, kind of low poly. They do look game ready, so I'm sure that's very applicable. We got a nice kind of Sketchfab preview here. Sketchfab is a fantastic service and a lovely website. You can upload your models and look around them in 3D. They also have a store, but you can buy and sell 3D models. And not sponsored for this live stream, but I have been sponsored by them before. But they're so tightly integrated with the Blender community that it's difficult not to talk about them sometimes. Because, I mean, they're such nice people and they're avid Blender users, and some of them that run that company or take part in that company have been around in the Blender community for such a long time. They're absolute legends. The nades are really good, are really cool, but where is the Glock? Yeah, actually, you know, the Glock is one of my favorite weapons, but I mean, I don't have many favorites, but let's see. I like guns for the design, not for what they're intended for. Jet. This is cool. I like this. Maybe a bit dark, but the idea is fantastic. Like playing with a Lego set. There's something kind of like strange about the idea of playing with Lego inside of Blender. It's like you've transferred the physical world into the digital world. I love it though. Hold on. 1891 with the clock. This clock tower reminds me of Back to the Future for some reason, and something about like the kind of layout of the courtyard. This is nice. This kind of reminds me of the work of James Traley. He's been doing these really nice kind of, it's, I don't really want to say ancient, but it's kind of got some ancient motifs with like very natural elements that come in to build these really lovely, soothing looking environments. Like you're kind of, even though you're inside, you're also at one with nature. It's weird to describe, but it's very nice. So I like this work. I love me some sci-fi. Guitar, let's have a look here. Again, using Sketchfab. I mean, and it integrates so well into ArtStation as well. So if you have like game ready props that you want to display to people on ArtStation, definitely consider taking a look at Sketchfab. All right, let's move on. Actually, let me check the chat. I just submitted something to the Discord. Am I too late? Well, let me jump you ahead there, because you've been around this live stream for a long time. So, moderators, can I request that you send me Into Pixel's work as soon as possible, please? And I will move on to the next one. Oh, we got a short film. This should be interesting. I don't have the audio set up on the OBS at the moment, unfortunately, but we'll take a look at it from here. So Planet Factory. I like this. We're seeing, well, we've got like a kind of basket going along a conveyor. Are there little planets in this? I feel really bad kind of skipping ahead through people's hard work, but I feel like I might need to on some occasions. This is kind of cute. I like the animation style for this. What are we seeing? We're looking into the planet. I'm sorry, I will skip ahead a bit. Oh, interesting effects. I've received a message from my moderators. Generative kind of modeling going on. I like it. This is cute. Very cute. Thank you for sharing. Okay, Interpixel, here we go. I found you. The Infinite Snow Globe. Let's take a look. So we've got a lovely snow globe going on here, coming out of the glass. Into the house again. To the glass. Very well done. It's difficult to get this kind of effect going pretty well, but you've done it pretty seamlessly. The only thing that seems to kind of pop out is the shadowy effect as we're kind of pulling out of the house. Let me see if I can find it. You see how it's suddenly, but I think that's more of a limitation, maybe ambient occlusion. It depends what renderer you were using. But as the camera moves back through geometry, it kind of shadows in as soon as it can see it. So, but I really like this. This is cool. And people should definitely check out Interpixel's YouTube channel. He's a really nice person. I've jumped into one of your streams, I believe. I'm trying to remember. But yeah, very nice channel. So feel free to take a look. When the default cube refuses to be deleted. If you want to know what that looks like, go and watch it. So yeah. Oh hey, Markham's joined the chat. Markham 3D. What's the Discord link? The moderators should share it, but if you can't find it, if you go to curtisholt.online/links, you will see a link to the Discord server right there. So yes, let's take a look. Please excuse me while I look for the next link. Got another ArtStation profile. I'm seeing a lot of black hole artworks in portfolios. I know I've done a video on black holes, but just receiving a message. Hang on. I missed one earlier. See, the moderators, they're keeping me in check whenever I miss one. They want to know that people don't get left out. See, this is fantastic community work. Let's take a look. Grass car. Following Derek Elliott's tutorial. Fantastic person, Derek Elliott. Please check them out. Seen using Chocofair assets. Not bad though, I like it. I like the design. Looks like we've got an animation going on. Very nice. I like even just the tiny animation detail of the car kind of rolling back as soon as it stops. Nice little details. Chess pieces. I like me some chess, and for those of you that have been around long enough, you'll know that CG Matter and I have occasionally played a couple of games, and I have lost every single one. But I've nearly won some, so yeah, not too salty. Alright, thanks for sharing. That's iconic. When's the next reacting stream? To be honest, I don't know. It's been quite rare that I've done streams, but I should try and do them more often. My community has definitely been pestering me to actually get on and do it. Right, going back to the mod chat. Okay, so the person that I missed out and I was reprimanded for. Again, pronunciations. Akramul Hassan Riyad. My apologies for getting it wrong if I did. Okay, nice variety. I'm seeing some work from tutorials. Okay, Cyberpunk. The yellow is just iconic. More Cyberpunk work. Let's see. Breed integration fired up. Spidermon. Nice, not too bad. Practice sculpting and lighting is the outcome. Everyone's got to start somewhere. I think you got the silhouette done pretty well, so well done with that. Let Me Breathe, this is more of like an expressionist piece, not too bad. Oh, 2D art remake on 3D. Oh, okay, interesting. So taking 2D art and remaking it. Face tracking and Mantaflow test. Pretty good. Looks pretty nicely done on there. And I can, you know, I'm so attuned to like the work of my fellow Blender YouTube creators that this ducky corridor, I like immediately recognize it. I've seen it in so many different portfolios. I like it. I mean, I love my sci-fi elements, but it's so recognizable. The Demogorgon / Mind Flayer, very cool. This actually reminds me, for those of you that know Blender Binge, aka Kev Binge, he recently did a Stranger Things inspired video where he made this kind of character, and it's all animated very well, and there's lots of effects going on. It's very cool. I missed the second one as well. Did I? He just deleted the message. I'm gonna expose my moderators if they make a mistake. All right, who else is here? Oh, we've got Kev in the chat as well. So yeah, please go and take a look at his channel. Really loving the stream. Call me Ray. Well, it's nice to have you here. So let me move on. This one. Hype lights. Okay. Brendan Sapp. Let's take a look. Nice picture, by the way. Very professional. November, Star Wars. Fanta, nice product visualization. Immediately drawn to the procedural metals because obviously I've done my modular metals pack somewhat recently and I love it. You got a very nice depth going on there, especially with the kind of bump. It's difficult to get depth, especially on flat surfaces. Interesting. Nice kind of like this kind of paving that you get by crossroads, crosswalks. What do you call them again? Crossings. But yellow I always associate with industrial elements. I love the pattern of it. That's quite versatile. I wonder if you've designed it in a way where the pattern can be changed dynamically or mathematically. Oh, very nice. Soundproofing. Honeycomb. Haven't seen many people try and do honeycomb. I've seen people do hexagonal patterns, but not actual honeycomb. I love it. You've got a good variety going on. It's very nice. More sci-fi elements, spaceships. I also love the design of this website, The Rookies. Interesting. I don't think I've ever been on this website before. But yeah, thanks for sharing. I'm gonna give you this for the materials. So well done. And also, let me just take a look. Titan 2. I love me some rocket artwork, and I see the little radioactive symbol up there. This is more of a sinister piece. Alright, let me check the messages. Wanted to join, Curtis is cool and I support him. Thanks, Kev. You know, Kev is one of the nicest people I've ever spoken to. Honest to God, just truly. Such a joy to speak to on Blender Nest, and it's been really nice getting to know you, Kev, so thanks for taking part in the podcast. Okay, let's see. Do you think we should have a little chat about NFTs? Do you think it's time? I don't know. I don't want to go too far into it, but maybe I'll say a couple of things. Twitter has been a mess recently. I was going to do a video kind of sharing my opinions and ideas of like possible solutions, but uh-oh. No, I won't say too much. What I will say is I've been disappointed with how people have been presenting themselves on Twitter and other websites in regards to, for example, you know, if someone shares NFT, I'm going to block them and never speak to them again. Grow up. Like that's a kind of feeling that I have. There's no point losing friends or dividing the community over this, of all things. I think there are some very good ideas behind NFTs and crypto art, and it is exciting. I mean, there's a large part of me that would love to try it and give it a try. There's another part of me that has a kind of spiteful element where you see people putting quite low efforts into things and making thousands of dollars. That's something that people have trouble wrapping their head around. And I understand that. But I also know that hard work does not guarantee success in life. And, you know, if you're in the right place at the right time and doing the right thing, that's just how life works. I did see some rumors about ArtStation looking to jump into the whole NFT and crypto art debacle. They're kind of setting up their own system for it, from what I've seen. And I might be interested in giving it a try if that happens. But at the moment, I think they'll only be rolling it out to limited numbers of people. But we'll see. I'm not the kind of person that's too passionate one way or the other. I tend to be quite split down the middle about it. I think recently Andrew Price, Blender Guru, has released a podcast episode today talking about his views about it. So if you're a bit out of the loop and you want more information, then I would head over and listen to his, because I feel like I've only watched about half of it, but it was quite a balanced perspective on things. Otherwise, just do some research and take a look. In the last two Blender Nest episodes, we've spoken about it as well. The second to last one had more kind of technical debate about it, and the last one was more about the psychological aspect and the community response to it. So yeah, I don't really want to go too far into it because there's no way to do a proper video about it without flaming one side or the other. And I'm just not here for that. So yeah. Let me just read the chat. For me, it's a bit hard to not judge people for getting into the NFT scene, to be fair, or to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I understand that. There's the moral debate, or the moral element is the one that people seem to have the most issue with, which is that the ecological factor is too high. So in terms of like energy consumption per token, per Ethereum, whatever. There are different websites with different articles measuring it in different ways. But yeah, the energy consumption is super high. But there's also the element of how can you measure whether a computation is particularly is green or not, is renewable or non-renewable, on a grid where energy created in renewable and non-renewable ways is mixed. But yeah, no, I'm not educated enough. I'll admit to that. So I can't really speak about it properly, and I don't think I should. So I'm gonna kind of back down on making a video about it and just observe. I'm not the kind of person that wants to flame up the community in that way. I've seen that, you know, pretty high profile members of the Blender community have been very outspoken about it. So yeah, maybe per transaction, I think you might be right there, Kev. But yeah, I'm not going to do that. How's it going, Kurt? It's going good. It's going all right. Thanks for coming along. Blender Binge was my go-to for some cool stuff. Yeah, definitely. Okay, well, let's take a look at some more portfolios, shall we? Give me a minute to go through the chat. Ooh, more car work. Marvin. I have no idea how to pronounce the last name. Very sorry. Marvin. Let's take a look. This one pops out to me immediately, probably because of the color, and the lighting is superb. I remember seeing some really cool vehicle renders on a website called Evermotion, was it? I remember looking through that when I was in school because I was so inspired by it. Whenever I see like super detailed car renders with such amazing lighting, it just reminds me of like that moment being in school before I was any good at doing 3D art or any kind of rendering whatsoever, and just looking at it. And I used to show my friends like two pictures, one from Evermotion and one from real life, and say, okay, which one do you think's real? And just see if they could get it right. Fantastic times. I love it. You've got a good variety here. You seem definitely focused on the car rendering. But most of all, thank you for the nostalgia hit, the unintentional nostalgia hit. So for that, I'll give you a thank you very much. So yeah. Now let me just check the chat because I kind of left that NFT conversation quite quickly. I hope we see more people talking about the other uses for NFTs rather than just focusing on the digital art scene. I agree. That's one thing I found a bit weird, is that it seems like something that could be so multi-purpose in its usage, but we're all like tunnel visioning in on crypto art. So yeah, I bet if I had a working NFT account, I could sell 4D animated Voronoi gifts for $50,000. And yeah, I think you could. Who knows? I'm being reprimanded for skipping a bunch of people. You know, it is quite difficult to keep track of all of this at once, mods. So we'll see. Oh, Marnix. I just realized who I'm looking at. So I've been following you for a while, and I love your work. Let's see. Mobile Force Assault Platform. Lovely hard surface. Look at it. So you've got all these kind of gimbal joints going on. Very cool. Oh, this is different. Photo study practice. There's something really satisfying about these kind of these storyboarding elements. What do they call them? There's a word for them, but I've completely forgotten it. My mind is frazzled. I'm not used to doing this much kind of talking and interaction at once. But that's a fantastic development from lines and silhouettes down to finished result. Absolutely beautiful. Well done. Okay, this is cool. I'm getting a mix of vibes from different artists. Simon Stalenhag, first of all, pops up. But there's another artist that I forgot the name, and the phrase "howling at the moon" pops into my mind, and I'm not sure why. Someone else who's published a book, I think through ArtStation, more of a fantasy element, but they've got similar compositions in their work. I really like this. This is good. Thank you for sharing. Titan Breaker. Love it. Love it, love it. Love me some sci-fi. I'm gonna give you my gonna give you my there we go. Thanks for sharing. Right. My my mods are saying, I think you skipped a few. Start from here. Okay. That page doesn't exist. Mods. Mods. Do I need to do I need to fire someone? Right. Oh, hello. This is interesting. Jewelry. I've seen something. I thought this was going to be just a nice little jewelry exploration, you know, into different lovely, beautiful metallic styles. And what do I see? This is a miserable joke. Look at it. This is supposed to be like an RTX 3080 or 3090 as a necklace. I mean, that's a fantastic idea. So well done for that. And you're gonna get a well done. But this is like a kind of spiteful, well done, you genius. Yeah, I love it. This is cool. This is very cool. That rendering. Is that rendering? That's super realistic. Love it. We don't see much jewelry work in the 3D space. And I definitely would love to see more of it because there's so much you can do with it, especially for like visualizations on people. Looks like you've also got some maybe kind of generative work going on. And for those of you that have been following me for a while, you know that I love my generative styles. Speaking of which, I think I should probably mention ByGen, the add-on, by-gen. There haven't been any major updates for it for a while, and the reason for that is because I've been holding off because it only makes sense that the future of ByGen should in some way interface with geometry nodes, because that seems like it'll be a pretty significant part of Blender going forward. So I was waiting until geometry nodes became more stable, but not just that, more fleshed out. So I'm waiting. I've begun experimenting, and I've been talking to lots of people that have been doing geometry nodes, including Erin Dale, who you should definitely check out. And I think my most recent video is super relevant towards this. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. Amazing geometry nodes demos in Blender. So if you're interested in geonodes and kind of procedural or parametric modeling, then definitely go and check that out. So let's move on. So one of the mods has shared their own portfolio in here. Sam DeHam, Samuel Weiss. Let's see. I'll just check the chat quickly. Voronoi remeshing, perhaps? Perhaps. It did look a bit like that. Probably cheaper than the actual card for the jewelry. I think you might be right. And let me tell you, I saw a 1390 on Amazon recently. It was way overpriced, but I really thought about it. I really did, but I stopped myself. So yeah. All right, let's see. Samuel, again, one of the nicest people ever. Does a nice variety of work. They've taken part in some of the art challenges. Let's take a quick look through. So this was the A Hopeful Future theme, and it's quite nice. It's all about renewables. Nice wind, nice solar. Maybe this kind of ties into the NFT and crypto art debate a bit. This is like a, breath of fresh air, a lovely positive vibe on the future. Let's see. Robot Head. Now this is an interesting one because we mentioned Ben, aka BBBN19 earlier, the fantastic Blender artist, very popular on Reddit. This original artwork was done by Esuthio. Now I pronounce it wrong. So this is the original artwork here. Now there was a funny little thing going on where like several people in my community wanted to make the same piece of artwork to see what the results would be, because it's such a good piece of artwork to do as a study, because you've got to interpret this image in multiple layers and try and build up the hard surface and kind of use your own interpretation to kind of complete it. So it was a really good one to try, and some of the results are great. So this is Sam's interpretation, and it's lovely. I love it. Fantastic. So I've got to give you the well done, and thank you for all of your help with the community as well. Very much appreciated, and that goes to all the moderators. So let's take a look. The most recent work, some architectural visualization, pretty good. Not too bad. I'm seeing a few maybe texture inconsistencies, but overall it's got a nice vibe to it. I think the lighting's pretty good. Maybe I think if the textures were a bit more appropriate, then it would look pretty nice. Maybe even a little bit of beveling in some areas, but I think it's a really good effort. Let me just check the chat. Your LiDAR video is the most popular one so far. You should do more of it. Yeah, I should do. But the thing about YouTube is that the algorithm is so unpredictable. That video shouldn't have done well. It's hold on, just checking the stream. Is it still going? Can you still hear me all right? Because I just had a little bit of a hiccup. I'm just going to wait until I get a yes come through the chat. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't think that video should have done too well. There's a bit of a theory that YouTube randomly selects videos to spike up and hyper recommend occasionally, just to give creators a sense of like, something that they want to achieve again. If that video had come out like a day before or a day after, I don't think it would have been picked up the way it was. But yeah, LiDAR is very fun to play with, so I should do more of it. There's also so much you can do from like a standpoint of using it for like architectural references, or even just measuring distances. Because so much of the time when you're making an environment, you're kind of stuck there trying to interpret what real life should be like, layering bit by bit until you get a result that's kind of good enough for your own interpretation. When you have LiDAR, you can actually see the environment in 3D space, and then you can build on top of it and around it. So it acts as like a real-time live 3D reference that you can work around, rather than just from like 2D imagery. So that's a really interesting aspect of it that I don't think people have explored properly, so maybe I should do a video about that. Alright, just gonna check the chat. Truby saying no, we can't hear you. You're such a troll. Okay, well we're gonna move on. Let's keep this train rolling. Today, okay, technical. So another one of my moderators, they're throwing their own in here. I think they're exploiting the system, don't you? What do you think? What do you think, chat? Should I should I reprimand them? No, I'm joking. Technical, again, just a fantastic person, so helpful. So, I mean, genuinely, the most helpful person I've ever met in this community. They just go out their way for absolutely like anyone to help them. Let's see, they've done a lot of work for the challenges in the server. Here's one that I quite liked. So the theme was castle. Lots of little details. It's hard to get such consistent detail across an entire scene. The only thing is that the lighting's maybe a bit dark. CG Boost competition, again. See, jumping around different competitions from different creators is a good idea. Really good way to kind of expand your skill set. And one of my favorite pieces, just for the idea alone, was that we had a challenge theme called Nostalgia, and Technical went ahead and they did them as a kid playing with like some of their favorite toys. I can't remember what these are called, but it was quite emotional. And there's a video you can watch as well, and I just thought, wow, actually pulling on the heartstrings with artwork, something that we don't see much of nowadays. I vote Kurt rates his own portfolio. Let them mess. I think you're right. Let's do it. Hang on. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. We're gonna do it. I opened it up in Firefox as well. Whoops. All right, here we go. What is this trash? What is this? This is terrible. There's so much blue. Ugh. I can't believe someone would use so much blue. Like, what are they thinking? Have they been underwater their whole life? I don't understand. What's going on? Oh, just like recycling the same meshes again. Ugh, there's not even any textures here. I don't even understand what's going on. Well, they think they can make two versions of the same artwork? Pff, just slap on some procedural materials and details as if that makes it better. Yeah, we know it's lazy, whatever. Oh, what have you done here? You've taken a LiDAR scan of your garden? How lazy. You can even make it yourself? Oh, what a shame. Just shoving in a UFO that you already made beforehand in it? What, you couldn't make it just for the scene? Oh, terrible. There's a garden chair. Why is there a garden chair at a sci-fi corridor? What, you were so devoid of any good storytelling that you just decided to throw something random in there for the sake of making it interesting? Ugh, can't believe you. All right. Yeah, I could, like, everyone's worst critique is themselves, right? So I could critique mine forever. You're not even following yourself? Oh, no, okay. We should stop. We should stop. Let's give some time to some other people. Cuboxel. How long have we been going for now, out of interest? I'm completely strapped for time. What would we? Someone give me a time. How long have we been going? Damn, spoke too fast. I almost thought about a rap video I once saw. We're not going to talk about the rap video. Okay, we're not going to talk about that. Portfolio. Cuboxel. Let's see. Stills. Let me take a look. I've seen these before. I recognize these. And I remember thinking this was very pretty. I created this render for the Arendelle Discord server weekly challenge number 2. Landscapes in summer 2020. Yeah, I remember seeing this and thinking there's just something about it that was like really satisfying. Something to do with the color and the lighting just coming on sideways like it's dusk or something, or dawn. Nice sense of scale. Just beautiful. Let me go back. Shaders. Interesting. Ah, November. Let's see. Yes, I remember all of this. Alright, come on. This was lovely. I mean, it just looks so realistic. And I think I remember showing some of this in the November video that was part of the way through 2020, if I remember rightly. I didn't end up doing a video showing off everything at the end of November for a few reasons. I was currently working on the Modular Metals package at the time, and also there was quite a few people trailing behind at the end of November into December. So I didn't think it would be fair to do it before they had finished, and I just never ended up doing it. So, but maybe I could go back to it. Do you have any plans to do any CG/VFX related videos? Maybe. I have been experimenting a little bit. It's not really my field necessarily, but I am interested in it. But I don't have any current big plans. I mean, there's other things kind of in the way at the moment. I was just thinking, why is everyone writing 77 in the chat? And I realized, okay, that's how long that we've been going for. All right. 78. Yeah, well done, Tech. Let's see. Okay. Again, pronunciations. I've never been good at it. Kiernan? Laugh at me later. Yeah, I mean, I love the work. Oh, hello. We got a little. Yeah, I feel like I've seen several variations of this before, but it's very nice. We don't get too much motion artwork in the Blender community nowadays. We get a fair number of, I think, very specific people that are known for doing motion art, like Midge Sinave, who's done the real-time motion graphics pack, which I think I recommended in a few videos. Speaking about NFTs, he's got a fair amount of stuff up on Super Rare at the moment. Ben, again, BBBN19, he's been doing a fair amount of motion graphic stuff as well, but shader related, which is definitely worth looking into. But I think we could do with some more, because I quite like it. Mantisa is amazing. Yeah, Mantisa is Midge, for those of you that don't know. We've had him on a couple of the Blender Nest episodes as well, if you're interested in listening to him speak about different things. Yeah, let's take a look. I've lost my place, kind of. Now, if there's any subjects you want me to chat about, or you want my opinion about while I'm here, because I don't know when I'll do another live stream, then leave them in the chat now. So if you do leave anything, I'll come back to it. I'll carry on looking at some pieces. All right. Aha, Vishnu. So Vishnu's been around for a little while. Let's take a look at some of his work. Oh, I love this one, the empty thumbnail. Okay, that's not your fault, that's ArtStation's fault. So there's a mix of stuff. Looks like you got some sculpting going on. Immediately, I love Alien. I'm a huge fan of the Alien series, so I love the Xenomorph. I'll like it anytime I see it. You get my even if it's just a silhouette, I'm a huge fan. What else we got? Gru's car. Okay, so Despicable Me. I've never actually seen the films all the way through. I've only seen clips. My dad has actually been mistaken for Gru once. That's a bit of a funny story. He's bald as well. CG Boost Moving Castle challenge entry. I like this. A lot of details. Kind of get a nice cozy feeling from it for some reason. Very nice. Jamo Skellington. Okay. Oh, entry for another challenge. See, lots of people doing challenges and putting their results up on ArtStation. Speaking of which, I think ArtStation, are they still running challenges now? 2020, 3rd of March. Okay, so occasionally ArtStation run their own challenges. There's more of a professional focus on them, but let me turn that off again. Wait, has it shifted screen? Oh man. Alright, so now you can see your own chat. Why did it shift screen? Let's move this over. Ah, gotcha. Alright, wrong window bad. Ah, look, there's going to be a problem eventually. Now this is why I need you guys in the chat. Updates to the whole tools. Okay. Getting into any thoughts about getting into art later in life? Yes, there is no time too late to do it. That's my honest to God, that's my honest opinion about it. And we have some quite older members of the community that are quite popular. Sorry about my language. I'm having trouble putting it together. I've seen people that have come in pretty late and excelled in the professional domain as well as in the independent domain. And in regards to that, I mean, like, YouTube and developing your own products and stuff. Even with new opportunities like the whole crypto art thing going on, I don't think there's any age requirement for that. It's never too late to start developing those skills. And I think that people who are more advanced in age probably have a leg up in learning some of them. Like, I think there's a bit of a misconception where people feel like you can only learn important skills like creative skills when you're young because you'll adopt it faster. I don't think that's necessarily the case. Because just generally, when it comes to learning creative skills, the more creative skills you learn or that you expand into, the faster you get at picking up new creative skills. And I feel like there's a lot of people that have never really touched artwork specifically that have still breached in on its territory, just in terms of creative thinking. I mean, It may even be something like you might find that you're good at doing photography, and you never tried like drawing or doing 3D artwork, but the kind of compositional skills or the thinking that you've learned from doing photography will translate into that. You'll be good at composition naturally, but you won't realize it necessarily until you experiment. So no, I don't think that getting into, say, 3D artwork or this kind of industry late is a bad thing. Not at all. In fact, who knows, it may even give you more credibility if you were applying for jobs, because I feel like young people get stereotyped and funneled into certain low wage, easy to exploit positions in the industry or industries, game development, visual effects, and maybe even coming in from an older perspective, you may have a leg up there. So no, I don't think it's a bad thing. So do you think that with future everything nodes, Blender will become close to Houdini? Yeah, I do. I do actually. I feel like it's kind of necessary as like a developmental standpoint for Blender, because the only other software that I've seen, or that I kind of got a feeling from the community that's like acceptable to use alongside Blender, because you know there's some hardcore only Blender, only open source people. The only other software that I've seen that kind of fits in terms of acceptability is Houdini, well, more than anything else, because people acknowledge that it is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I feel like it's quite natural for Blender to kind of nudge further into that space, and even for bridges between the two softwares to be kind of unified. But I think that the popularity of Houdini probably acts as a representation of the fact that there's a strong demand for that kind of technology to be available to people freely and in the open source space. So yes, I do think that. Kev says, keep in mind too that entertainment is a tiny fraction of the 3D workload. Very true. Yeah. And it's worth keeping in mind that, say, Autodesk, they're kind of focusing more into the industrial space now as well. If you're wondering where Autodesk are going, that's where they're retreating. I'm personally not a fan of Houdini and Blender becoming more similar because I love both so much. Yeah, I suppose that's true, but I feel like having more Houdini-like features is not going to remove any of the charm of Blender. It's not like, you know, you work on one area and others somehow shrink. That's not how it works. All right. Any other questions? Oh, Interpixel's going. Okay, well, thanks for coming along. My grandpa got into art, digital drawing, and started selling in his 70s. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I guess we're having a bit more of a discussion time now. So let me give us a bit of a countdown. Let's go for maybe 10 more minutes, 10, 20 more minutes. Give me any more questions that you like, and we can have a chat about it. This is the slowdown time, so if people start leaving, I understand. I feel like we covered quite a few portfolios. It's been quite fun. And I hope that maybe even seeing these portfolios has provided people with some good inspiration. Let me just check my things. All right. Did you enjoy / play Cyberpunk 2077? Yes, I did. I haven't finished it, and I'm actually quite disappointed I haven't finished it, but I did enjoy it. Yeah, very much. I don't think it's a bad game. I feel like CD Projekt Red had a lot of developmental issues with it. It's bugged to high heaven, but it's not a bad game. The story is solid. The gameplay is pretty solid when it works. But yeah, there's definitely a number of issues with it. Let me see. Houdini is so much more complex than Blender, and I think that there will never be a one-to-one overlap. You're probably true. I mean, if Blender starts breaching into the territory a bit more, I'm sure that Houdini will move into other areas as well. But we've got to keep in mind that in these industries, people talk a lot and people connect a lot. So it's not like the Houdini developers and Blender developers are completely separate from each other. That's not, how it works. There is communication, I expect, not even directly, but through the community in some way. All right, let's see. Will you bring your dad in for a VFX tutorial? No, my dad doesn't do VFX. He does special effects, which is the practical side. Maybe that's something I should clear up here and now. One big misconception with the film industry is that special effects means computer generated effects, which is not true. Special effects is practical, meaning physical elements, explosions, atmospherics, like snow, rain, gore, and all stuff like that. Visual effects is the computer generated elements, so, well, anything that falls under that. How do you feel about the rising poly counts and less optimization that's been bleeding into the current gaming industry? My entire workflow is based around low poly and optimization. Lamau. I don't know how I feel about it, because when we look at things like the new version of Unreal Engine that's coming out with, what was it, Nanite? Is that what they called their system that could like stream in millions and millions of polygons really quickly? The one thing I wonder about that is the original data for the models still exists, and for that to be streamed in, that data is still written down somewhere on a disk or whatever. So I worry about the sizes of game files. And like, I reinstalled Call of Duty Warzone recently, and what's that up to, like 150 gigabytes or something? It's crazy. Like, it's a ridiculous size. So I'm a bit worried about the rising poly counts overall, because vertex positions, thousands, millions of them, can take up quite a lot of space. Not as much as texture files, 250 in total. That's crazy. Models tend to take up less space than texture files generally, unless they're quite high poly, but it's still concerning. Please tell me where those numbers are coming from, the people that care about geometry. Oh, it's you having a conversation, right? What's your advice on game development and budgeting? Game development is a massive time investment. It's a huge one. So I kind of started off in game development. I was going to go to university for it, but I decided not to because I wanted to do it myself, and I already had the kind of skill set for it. So I kind of got partnered with Steam, and then I released a product. I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's some of my worst work, but I did it. It took a whole year to do. This is the most stressful year of my life, especially if you're independent, because when you're not working on something, nothing gets done. So you put a lot of pressure on yourself to keep working on minute tasks. And one of the troubles with game development, which is much like any kind of software development really, is that when you're the one working on minute tasks, it's hard to remember to be the person to look at the whole picture from a managerial standpoint. That's the main issue that I feel like I had with game development, and that's something that I think people should be aware of. You need to be able to move in and out of scope from the single like point of data developer to the managerial, let's look at the whole perspective. You can't do both of those things at once. You need to be able to transition between those psychologically pretty easily, and that is a skill in and of itself. So yeah. Do you play Elite? Yes, I do. I am a founder of Elite. I have a lifetime expansion pass. I've been supporting the game since 2014. I love it. And Frontier Developments is my favorite game company. I get shivers when I hear game development now. It's giving me so much anxiety. Hell yeah, I understand that. I think a lot of people do, definitely. I mean, there are so many people that want to get into game development. I feel like it's one of the two main things that, I mean, maybe it's like a teenage male bias, but when kids come out of school, I think being a YouTuber and game development are like two things that really flag up in terms of what you want to do as a profession. And neither of those is easy to achieve through traditional means. The main issue with going to university for game development, which is something that I kind of batted around in my head, is that they can get you to do tasks, but you don't do anything for yourself. You may be guaranteed maybe like an apprenticeship or a placement that may or may not be temporary, but because the requirements for experience are so high for companies that are at least mid to large scale, that alone isn't enough to get you in. And for smaller companies, which may have smaller requirements, a lot of them want to see like a large body of extra work. And if you haven't done your own extra work alongside the university, then there's nothing that makes you stand out. And also, having a following does help. That's kind of one of the unfortunate things, is that if you have a large following and a good portfolio, you're going to stand out a hell of a lot better than someone with the same portfolio but a small following. Unfortunately, that's just how popularity bias works. Kev says, my brother and I co-owned a game company. It's stressful, lol. Yeah, it is. That's interesting to know. Maybe I'll pick your mind about that sometime. Right. What else have we got here? Okay, there's some weird comments going on. Game development is crazy these days, yep. What is the best way to get involved in the Blender community? I have a hard time interacting with people without feeling like I'm a walking commercial sometimes. I have a YouTube channel. Yeah, I definitely understand that. The best way to get involved is to identify the places where people absorb their content. So, for example, a lot of people look at the articles that come from Blender Nation. So, like when I made my first tutorial series, I made sure it was posted there, as well as on Reddit. People get a lot of their stuff through Reddit. You've got to give yourself that kickstart when you start producing content. So you've got to identify where people take their content from and then push it there. You do want to avoid being a walking advertisement, but sometimes it can't be helped. Because, say, for example, with my line of work, the YouTube ad revenue brings in like the smallest amount of income. It's the opposite of sustainable. And the amount you get from it is so inconsistent throughout the year because companies tend to allocate different budgets towards advertisement depending on the time of year. For example, leading up to Christmas will be quite high, but afterwards it's just dead. And affiliates is like is a good source of income to kind of replace that on YouTube channel, where you can talk about like the content made by other Blender creators and get a revenue cut from it. So naturally you'd gravitate towards something like that because it's more sustainable, and then you can spend more time working on the projects that you want to make. But you run the risk of becoming a walking advertisement in doing that a lot. But I think it really depends on the way that you format your videos. If you can like start off with good quality content and then kind of like lead into those kind of advertisement moments organically, then it's less agitating for people. And ideally, like even for me and other Blender creators, I think we'd love to be able to make content that doesn't push advertisements too much, but it is kind of like a necessity sometimes. You've got to like balance up whether you want to spend your time making something that brings in lots of views but no income compared to something that brings in income but not so many views, or like whatever mix. So yeah. Do you think Blender in upcoming years will be a good choice for simulation with Mantaflow? I actually have no idea because I haven't experimented much with Mantaflow. I remember doing like a smoke simulation video, and not too long after I put that out, it became redundant because of the changes as Mantaflow was added. But yeah, the general consensus I've gotten from speaking to other creators is that Blender's physics simulations overall are just generally quite lacking and inconsistent in large-scale scenes specifically, where if you do like stepping away from Mantaflow, if you do rigid body simulations on large scales, you'll find that sometimes the results of your simulations are not the same, which is weird because if the physical laws are deterministic, they should be the same. So there's some inconsistencies there. As for Mantaflow, I don't know how versatile it is for completely accurate simulations. Which Blender artist made you the most wowed? Probably Ben, BBBN19. Yeah. Probably the person that I've gone, wow, more times than anyone else. So yeah. Blender's rigid body solver is, and I am sorry, but I must be honest, awful. Yeah, I've heard that from several people. So we're not going to do any more reviews because we're going to kind of close this up now, but maybe I'll answer a couple more things. But for those of you that have sent in your portfolios, thank you very much. It's been interesting. Maybe I'll try and do another one of these sometime soonish. The only good simulations I saw was from Iridesium on YouTube. Yeah, cool channel, very cool channel. Let me look back. I decided to make comics and short films instead of games. Same time sink, less pressure because, they're commercially inviable, so who cares? Yeah, I suppose that's true. I mean, everyone kind of finds the things that they want to make and what they're comfortable with making. But like I mentioned earlier, the one thing that has taken me the longest to wrap my head around is getting over the idea that hard work doesn't guarantee success, and you need to work smarter than you do harder to succeed. And yeah, that's been troubling. I've spent a bit of time talking about that on Blender Nest, because you come out of school thinking, if I work hard, I'll do really well. That's not the case. I spend maybe like 2 to 5% of my days working. The rest of it is done kind of phasing out and thinking about what to do next. Thinking takes up the most effort, I would say. And then once you know exactly what you want to do, like exactly the next step to take, you just blitz it out really quickly. And then you just go back to your kind of phase out, mellow thinking mode. So yeah. Any tips for getting mesh anims like water fountains into a game engine? I'm not the one that can provide the right information for that, but I know there are other people. 100 minutes, woohoo! If you actually maybe jump into like my server in the Help Advice channel, maybe someone might be able to help you out there. Any thoughts when Blender gets real-time path tracing? Real-time as a concept is kind of weird with Blender, because Eevee is technically not a real-time rendering engine. So with that in mind, I have no idea when we'll get real-time path tracing. I guess it's just a matter of speeding up computation as much as possible. Okay, so I think we'll leave it there. I need to kind of remember how to stop these streams, but I will say thank you for coming along, everyone. It looks like we've had a fairly consistent audience throughout it, so it's quite nice. It's been fun talking to you, and I hope this has been interesting. Maybe we'll try and do another one of these sometime soon. So yeah, thanks for coming along. Feel free to like send me a message and show me your work, because I just like looking at people's work anyway. And I might close off the live stream chat channel in Discord to stop people from posting things for now. But yeah, so thank you very much. Stay safe. And if you haven't gotten your, I don't want to make it political. If you haven't gotten your vaccines and you're able to, then please do, because it is important. So yeah, au revoir, my lovelies. Goodbye.